The New England Patriots just said what? We're going to talk about it. My name is Aaron. This is Sports Talk Patriots on the daily content just for you, all New England Patriots football. So do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, like, and comment below. So the big question is, what the heck did Elliott Wolf just say about the offensive line? We're going to talk about the offensive line, 3 key takeaways, as well as other AFC East teams and how they fared in preseason. We're going to talk about it. So first, Elliott Wolf had a press conference Saturday, 10:30, and any person in the organization, you want to be optimistic. Anyone who watches this channel knows I'm a very optimistic person. Yes, glass half full. I want to wish the best. I want to hope the best. I want to put that out into the ether and hope that those positive vibes help somehow, some way. But I think this has gone just a little too far from Elliott Wolf. So Elliott Wolf was asked about the offensive line, and this is his exact words, quote, "We're excited about our offensive line group." No, yes, I'm going to start off positive, and then we're going to transition to a more negative light. Positive things. Yes, I think there's some beacons of hope on that offensive line. Again, I like David Andrews still playing center, being a veteran right there. I think Nwenu at guard is a great move. I think Sidy Sow at the other guard, he has done a great job. He did great. Great is not the word I want to use. A serviceable job, and hopefully a young player, he can only get better. But the biggest questions are when we have at left tackle Lowe, and then when we go get a guy like Okorafor and we have him at right tackle and they're both struggling. So when he says this, I don't think you're that excited. I think the biggest thing, and I wish this would have happened, and everyone's been preaching this, instead of taking so much time to look into wide receivers, why couldn't we taken more time to look in trying to get a left tackle or even a right tackle? Just a tackle. That probably would have been wise. That probably would have been a better use of time instead of trying to get Brandon Ayuk or Calvin Ridley or whoever. So anyways, he goes on to say, I think we gave up 1 sack the other night, which is true. That was Lowe who gave it up. I believe it was Drake May that got just walloped in the backfield. And so, and then he goes on to say, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, we only gave up 1 sack, ... It was Philly's 2 second strings, most likely as well third, but it was an improvement from practice on Tuesday. Yes. Now here's the deal. Here are the 3 biggest takeaways when it comes to this offensive line that I have noticed. First, you look at on that second, having a brain fart, on that game against the Eagles, they had Ramondre Stevenson had 6 carries for 18 yards. Here's the big thing. Most of those yards were after contact. Offensive line, that was the starting offensive line against 2s and 3s, and they weren't able to move the ball. Again, I understand it's preseason. Things are still being worked out, but not looking great. Not looking great. So that's the first thing. The second thing is during joint practices, they absolutely got bullied by the first string and second string. Just absolutely bullied by that defensive line, the blitzes they sent, all these different things. There was times that the quarterbacks could barely get the ball off. Third thing, overall, the production in that game was not great. I believe, again, they had about 159 total yards. That is not anything to write home about. Again, I will say it was a preseason game, and they're trying to get a bunch of different players in. But regardless, you look at any other team that has played in the preseason, and they are putting up much more yards than that. And they're just, in a way, you're kind of just goofing around. You should be able to put that kind of yards up, especially when it's not starters you're going up against. So it makes me think when Elliott Wolf says, yes, we're excited about this, you see it from, we want to be positive. We want to send out this message to the fans. Yes, but at the same time, you got to be truthful. You got to tell the truth. You got to say, hey, yes, we are excited for this line. We're excited for the young talent we're bringing up. And yes, that we've put them in a bunch of different situations in that game. You know, we had Caden Wallace in there. We had Robinson in there. We're switching them up at different positions for contingency plans. Great. But you always have to add that but on the end. But we do have concern, and we need leaders on this offensive line to step up and show that they know what they're doing. We need people to be dedicated to film and doing all these different things leading up to week 1. That's what needs to happen. And so comment below, what do you think? I've asked the question about the offensive line a ton, but what is your thoughts? Do you think Elliott is straight up lying? Do you think he's lying to you? Do you think he's just trying to be optimistic? What is it? Because again, I think the offensive line, it is possible they can be serviceable. I do think the Eagles have a defense that is going to be great this year, especially in the NFC Beast. I think they're gonna do well over there when you have teams like the Giants and the Commanders and the Cowgirls. Cowgirls will probably do well and then choke in the playoffs as usual. But anyways, that's neither near nor there. So what do you think about what Elliott Wolf had to say, and what are your thoughts on the offensive line? Next, offensive line. All we need you to do is protect. Like let's get over 100 yards rushing from Stevenson, and let's get some solid downfield threats. Let's get the ball out, and I think we'll be golden. Anyways, back to our regularly scheduled program. So preseason games. What's interesting too, I just want to point this out just because I was looking at it. So Thursday night, Eagles Patriots. We know that. We jump into the other AFC East teams. You go down, the Dolphins played the Commanders, and what you notice in the preseason, I want you to think about this. For the most part, granted, I do know the Chiefs had their starting offense, their starters out there against the Lions this week. Every team does it different, but for the most part, that last game is when the starters really start to come out, start to play more, really tune up. If you look at the Dolphins, they had pretty much no starters out there. The Commanders, yes, they are trying to figure things out, especially when you have a young quarterback in Jaden Daniels. So for the most part, I'm not going to say this is an absolute because it's not an absolute, but for the most part, when you watch the preseason, the teams that are tried and true and are confident in what they're doing, they're going to have their starters out week 3. On the flip side, if people are trying to figure things out and they're trying to figure out quick before week 1, for the most part, everyone's going to be playing. So that has been the Patriots. Dolphins, right there. We look at the and what's awful about these games. I pulled some of these games up. Gosh, they're rough to watch. It's like watching Iowa, Nebraska. It was so bad. It was like Big Ten football. I love Big Ten football, but it was like Big Ten football. It was like 3 and out, cloud of dust, punt. Like you look at the driving summaries: punt, fumble, punt, interception, field goal, touchdown. Wow, that's a surprise. So, but Bills, Steelers, again, starters didn't really get out there. Wasn't anything crazy. When you have Justin Fields throwing for a game high 92 yards, don't expect to be dazzled, ladies and gentlemen. And last but not least, the New York Jets. They had Adrian Martinez out there scrambling around for 67 yards of passing. Not crazy. And so, and they're not going to try Aaron Rodgers out there because they don't want another Achilles incident. And that meme of him running out with the flag would just live on. And it would be very unfortunate. But that being said, you look at that and it's going to be interesting to see. I hope come this third week of the preseason that, again, I want to see Jacoby more, and I want to see Drake May more. Give them all the reps. We know Joe Milton, he's going to be third string quarterback. I don't know why we're still holding on to Zappe, unless we're assuming that Zappe is going to be traded or something like that. It's very possible a team like the Minnesota Vikings tried to get Zappe, and hey, if it's someone that we're probably going to drop, hey, this is a guy, he's tried and true, he has starting experience, he'd be a second string quarterback to Sam Darnold, and he could, they don't need to keep him for long. JJ's going to be back next year, apparently, hopefully. So what do you think when it comes to the preseason, this last game? What are you really hoping to see, especially out of the offense? Again, we talked defense. Notice I have not talked a lot of defense today. Defense the other day, they did, even though they weren't going up against Jalen Hurts and the starters and all these different people, they went out there and they were balling out. So what do you think about this offense? What are you really hoping to see this third game, especially all of the offensive line? And again, I'm going to continue to ask, what are you leaning more towards, Brissett or May? Brissett or May? Brissett or May? comment below. I appreciate you guys. You guys rock. This is Sports Talk Patriots. My name's Aaron. Before you head out, hit that subscribe button. You guys rock. Peace.